Hello and welcome. My name is Jennifer, and today I wanted to share how to make a sculpture. If you're tired of going to the netherworld to pick up your dangerous art, well, here is a solution for you where you can build your own. And it's inspired by, of course, the Beetlejuice movie, and of course the second one's coming out soon, so I'm excited to see that. I'm sure you are too if you click this video. And if you want to learn how to make your own statue, stick around. I'm also going to list the materials you'll need here, so if you want to take a screen capture. Real quick, Beetlejuice is a pretty popular franchise. I love the original movie. There was a cartoon version that I used to watch all the time, love it. And we recently saw the musical, and after seeing the musical, the music has just been stuck in my head, and I definitely want to see it again. So what is your favorite version of Beetlejuice? And are you excited to see the movie coming out soon? Beetlejuice. Let me know. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Let's get on to the craft. So one of the most important things I was looking for was a good box that would be the size that I want to use. This is around 12 inches tall, and the other is like around 15 inches. I want this to have some kind of weight to it, and I have a few ways that I think I'm gonna do that. I kind of measured out the length of styrofoam I needed, and I kind of perforated a line and snapped the styrofoam. So if you're doing this, this is a pretty easy way to do it. All right, so with some trial and error, I got the size of the styrofoam, so I'm going to use this size for the next styrofoams that I use. And I'm also going to cut out a square here to fit in the book that I want to put in. Really easy. I'm just going to trace out a rough tracing of the book. This is going to allow it to sit inside without sliding all over the place. I'll be using the vacuum later. But yeah, this is basically it. So we're gonna house the book in here. I might have to cut out one other one so that the book can sit in there, but this is basically the idea. Put that guy in there. There we go. Oh, you get it. I think you get it, right? Okay. I only needed that first cut. It fits perfectly, and I could just keep stacking the styrofoam in this box, and it should be pretty sturdy. More here. Okay. So since the cardboard was never really flush to the sides, I am going to insert some pieces of cardboard that are going to fill up this area.
Hey, you want to play a game?
Don't waste your time. She's pregnant. And you go first because you suck.
Next, I'm going to secure the top and bottom. I didn't do this originally, but you should probably secure this before you put any kind of weight inside. So I'm going to secure the top and the bottom with this tape, and I'm going to start adding the the top structure here after I finish. Next, I'm going to draw out the shape that I want the structure to be on top, and it's gonna be around this shape, and might be a little bit different. I gotta see, but this is the general shape that I want. So I just cut out a piece of foam, and I kind of covered it with paper towel and Mod Podge, only because I don't want little pieces of styrofoam kind of floating all over the place. All right, so the lighting is a little bit better today. It's not nighttime and my room does not have great light. So this is the inside here of the structure that I'm making. It's not exactly even, but I am going to be putting paper mache around here, and then I'm going to use strips to kind of build out and make the structure. All right, so the idea is I do want this taller, so I'm going to add pieces like this, and this is maybe the height that I want. And I'm just going to add it around. And I think I'm going to use some of these pieces here to build up this back part, and basically I'm just filling it in, and it really doesn't matter what this outside part looks like because I am going to go over this with paper mache. So any of this here, it's going to be covered and it'll look much better. So right now we're just building a structure and making sure it's nice and sturdy. All right, so this is what we have so far. It looks a little sloppy, but honestly this is the height and shape that I wanted exactly. Next, I'm going to figure out how to keep this structure as light as possible and also as sturdy as possible. This isn't enough to support what's going to be going on top, so I'm going to figure that out now, and then we'll work on the bigger shape for the top. What I'm going to do, I'm going to be layering the cardboard 2 times. So I'm going to be having this outside layer, and I'm going to also put more cardboard on the inside here. Right, not sure how much you can see here. I did what I would call cardboard patchwork, and I basically just used a bunch of my spare pieces of cardboard that I just have extra of, and I kind of just secured certain areas like the folds or the meeting places of other pieces, especially here where I had the weaker pieces. This is definitely really thick now, and it's very, very structured. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a bunch of paper, fill it in as tightly as possible. And then when I am crumbling these up, I want to make them really tight so that I can really pack them in, and it adds to the structure. Even though it's already secure with the cardboard, and we're going to be adding paper mache on top, so it's going to be pretty hard and sturdy. All right, and this is the shape that we're going for here. It took a few tries. I think this is around the shape that I want. The references that I'm using, they're all a little bit different. Some are mock-ups, some are the ones from the movie. First of all, I gave this allowance of having some extra structure here, so this is actually going to go inside. It's going to help support everything. All right, cool. So we have 2 shapes here. I kind of put in a little mark of where it's supposed to end here roughly, just so I have an idea. All right, so this fits perfectly. I'm going to make the second piece because it does look the way I want it to. All right, so this is basically what I was looking for. I'm going to glue the top part together so that these are together, and then also glue these and secure these to the side. So I'm just securing this area with hot glue. I glued these edges together and these apart. I'm going to be gluing this part together here. All right, so it's got a nice bend to it and it's not stiff or anything. So now I'm gonna draw out my shape. I don't know how well you can see. I think it's a little bit of a saving grace that this sculpture is not asymmetrical or perfect or anything like that. So I wanted 4 points, I guess we're gonna call them. 4 points on each side and then the top spike. And I think I'm gonna marker this in. I like it, I like the shape, and I will just extend this off with more cardboard, but I'm fine with that. So this is gonna be the shape, and I'm gonna cut it out now. Right, so this is the shape. It's all cut out now, and I do have to finish the ends, but it's not really a big deal. And now I have a bunch of shapes, pretty good ones that even I can add to kind of finish off the ends. I would shape them better, but all of this is stuff that I can use for kind of completing this form. Pretty happy with this. It curves the way I want it to, and we'll also be curving the ends here, but I'm gonna do that in a minute once I kind of get everything shaped up. But this is kind of the perfect size So it was perfect amount of cardboard that I had there. All right, so next I'm going to be gluing this down here. So this is all going to be meeting this curve back here. So it's definitely going to take 2 hands. So I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. All right, so one of the things that ended up happening was the curves were not lined up right because this was not matched up, probably because this part isn't exact. I didn't measure it in any kind of way with like, you know, making sure everything was super accurate. So I filled this area because once the shape kind of presses down here, it wasn't even, so it would have been askew very much and it would have looked very weird. So I'm kind of adding the support here so that it matches up here and the shape can lay flat. So I have all of this glued, and I decided before I cover this back part, I really want it to be as secure as possible, and it's still a little bit wiggly. I'm sure it wouldn't come apart or anything, but places like here, I'm going to take pieces of just thin cardboard that I have saved, and I'm basically going to take the pieces, glue it here, and just to make sure everything's attached the way it needs to be, and then I will be covering it in the back here. So it won't be accessible anymore, it'll be covered, but at least it will be 100% secure. So I'm gonna do this all over on both sides. And it's basically just really securing it so I don't have any issues later. And I also secured this bottom part since it was only held with the hot glue in 3 points. So now it's also pretty secure here. So this is where we're at. I finished all of the ends of the spikes here, so they all have attachments, and I rounded them out. I also curled them and made them in the directions that I wanted them to kind of point towards. Some are a little bit down, some are up, and that's because from the reference that I can see, these spikes kind of go either which way. They're not all even or anything like that, so I did it to the best of what I saw. This is now super sturdy. It's dried now from yesterday. These pieces really did a great job, so I'm really glad I added these, and behind here has also helped tremendously. I realized I need to fill this out with some newspaper crumbles like I made before. I finally filled that cavity with the newspaper, and I'm gonna work it up and fill out this all with newspaper so I can bulk it up. All right, this was all filled in with newspaper pretty tightly as I could, and I also taped it up so it's easier to go over later. I'm also going to add the crumbles. I'm going to maybe glue them on so that they stay on, and then I'm going to tape over that also. Along with making these ball crumbles, I'm crumbling up some paper in longer strips or longer shapes, and that's what I'm going to fill out. I'm going to kind of bulk this out because I don't want it just to be flat like this, and I don't want to have to go over it with a bunch of paper mache, so this will definitely help me bulk it out. So I'm going to add these kinds of paper strips. Okay, so I ended up taping a little bit on the back also, and I added these little kind of nodules, and they are next to each little spike here on the sides. Each spike has a little, I guess it kind of looks like a spine on the actual statue, so I wanted to put that here and kind of start that. I'm probably going to end up adding more to it. Maybe after I add the paper mache, I can really add more to that, the structure, but I think I'm gonna start covering it. tomorrow because I'm done for tonight. I did a lot. So this is what it's looking like. All right, so this is the setup. I'm gonna put some Mod Podge in this plate here, and I'm gonna use the paper dowel and the Mod Podge to cover a first layer on the sculpture, and I'll show you how it's going. I started putting on the paper towel. It's really hard to film and show what I'm doing, so I'm basically taking a paper towel. I have Mod Podge all over my hands. Taking a paper towel, kind of dipping it in, taking off as much Mod Podge as possible, and laying it down flat. And I think I'm gonna have to do a few layers of this, or I might also do paper, but this is where we're at so far. And I'm just gonna keep going. I just wanted to update a little bit because it's so hard to show while I'm doing it. All right, so I've got the statue all covered all over the place, and I realized that I have stuff on my hands, but I realized I want to make this angled. So I'm not sure how far I'm gonna bring it up, but I am gonna add some thickness up here and kind of make this part angled, like I said. Alright, so I have all of the tissue filled out. I am gonna glue some of it down so it stays down better, but not too much, and then I'm gonna go over it. I might actually build this wall, let's call it a wall. I might build this up a little bit more. Alright, so here's a really good shot of everything that I'm working on. So trust the process a little bit with this part. I'm kind of trying to keep it from rounding out. So I want this corner to be nice and straight. So I'm just adding little pieces here. I'm going to do it all the way throughout the way I need to, if I need to. So I've only done really this side, and I'll turn around and do the other side as well. But this is basically what it's going to look like. It's going to be nice and straight here, and then this curve is going to follow through over here. So we're going to start painting, and this is the black paint that I bought. I am going to do a base coat, at least one layer, to kind of fill everything in black. All right, actually this paint has really good coverage. It's not sheer at all, so I may not need as much as I thought I would. So I'm just gonna keep doing this, filling it in all the space, and I will get back to you once I'm done. Now that everything's covered in black, I used a gray mixture to use for the next layer. I want to have some of the black showing through to add a little bit of texture and dimension. So we'll see how that works out. Down here it's kind of all solid, so I might have to go in with maybe some black and add effect. But this is basically what I'm going to be doing here. And some parts I'm going to try to cover up more than the other parts.
What if they sent me to Taylorville or Marion and not here?
Really? It's all right, I got it.
And this is the black and teal that I'm adding on now. It's a mixture. And I don't think it's a big deal if it's precisely exactly the same color all over.
Today before that, with several legs photographed of his wife in the motel in Portland.
Let's make sure the environment here is reflective that shows your...
Okay.
All right, and this is it for now. This is the final product. I'm so happy with how it turned out, and I am so happy that I was able to share it. So thank you so much for watching, and if you really liked this video, don't forget to like it, share with anybody that maybe loves Beetlejuice, and I hope that you're having a great day whenever you're watching this, and until next time, bye.